Hello everybody and welcome back to AOR Season 16 here for round number 3, the Chinese Grand Prix at Shanghai, which is a track that's been pretty good to me in the past, and I've had some pretty good results around here in the past, including my win in Season 14, which was my first ever victory in the top tier of AOR PS4 F1, and then also last season was looking pretty good until I had the glitch which took me out of the race. But yeah, it's a track I enjoy and I was hoping for a good result here today, but throughout practice I didn't really feel too comfortable around here and I wasn't really too confident about my pace, but I was still hoping for a good result nonetheless. And coming into this race after P4 at Bahrain, we didn't get that penalty removed after cutting the corner on the final lap whilst going side by side with Deagle. We didn't get that penalty removed, so we remained in P4, which I believe put us in P3 in the championship before this race, which is still a pretty good position to be in at this stage in the championship. And you can see here we're currently in qualifying with about a minute 20 left. Currently in P6, so we definitely need to improve, but I think my PB was a 29.3, so I was aiming for something around there, but so far this lap has been far from ideal. I didn't really take the best line there through the S's, and now heading towards the final sector of the lap as well. We're only about 900, well about a tenth up now on our previous best time, which is not going to be good enough if we want to fight for a front row here today, so we need to try and find quite a bit of time in this final sector here. So rounding the long right-hander, and now onto the back straight, but I'm not going to go for a second lap on these ultra soft tyres because the one stop here is very difficult to do, especially going ultra softs to mediums, which is the strategy I'll be running. It's very difficult to do, so we don't want to do an extra lap on these ultra soft tyres because the tyre wear is tight enough anyway. And the ideal strategy to run is the soft mediums, but you'd qualify outside the top 10 most likely, which I didn't really want to take the risk of doing, so we're qualifying on the ultra softs, which is going to give us better track position. And we crossed the line and go P4 there, but that actually turned out to be P7 on the grid. But as I was saying, it's a similar situation to Bahrain where one strategy is so much better, but you have to choose between track position in qualifying or going for that different strategy by qualifying outside the top 10. But you can see rounding up to the 5 red lights now for the Chinese Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go. And the initial launch off the line there was pretty decent, already going side by side with Williams Nardi heading towards turn number 1, and we're going to take an outside line here, which is I think the best way to go around turn 1 in the first lap, because you can gain quite a bit of time. We've already gone past Nardi and now we're going side by side with Curly, who had pretty good pace around here as well. I did do quite a bit of practice with him and his pace always seemed pretty good, as Epic Gamer there nearly loses the car and nearly took out Williams Alex or Synthetic. As now heading towards turn number 4, I believe this is, Curly goes down the inside of Epic Gamer, and now Williams Alex, Epic Gamer and Curly are all going side by side, and they're just in front of us here into the S's. And Curly edges in front into P3, and you can see Curly and Alex have actually made a bit of contact there, and that was caused by desync, and Alex has gone off the track. He's down in like P10 or something right now, so we've gained a position out of that, and that's pretty unfortunate for Alex there, but a good start for us, going P7 to P5, so that's definitely what we wanted. And I didn't know at this stage, but Epic Gamer in front actually had wing damage as well, so it should be pretty easy for us to get through on him as well in the next coming corners. You can see how much understeer he's got there. As now heading onto the back straight, the two McLarens of Floris and Michael are already starting to get away, and I think it was Floris leading at this stage. And you can see Curly's weaving a bit here down the straight. We're going to try and look for a move on Epic Gamer, who goes defensive into the hairpin, and we look to the outside line there, but that's never really going to work into that corner, so we just have to settle for P5 at the moment. But we got Nervo behind in P6 as well, who I think missed the last race at Bahrain and also retired in Australia, so he's quite far behind in the championship battle already. And you can see now onto lap 2, we're still behind Epic Gamer now, but you can see the understeer he's getting around turn 1, and we're just going to easily get up the inside of him into turn 1 there, and we get the move done. So now it's up into P4, so 3 positions gained already here in this race, so that's what we wanted to do. And now we've just got to try and focus on getting into a rhythm and putting in some consistent and fast lap times, but also trying to save the tyres as well, because when these ultra soft tyres get into a stage where they're quite worn out, especially the rears, it is so difficult, it's almost undrivable. And we've got to try and make these tyres last to about lap 6, which was when I was planning to pit for my medium tyres, because also if you pit any earlier than that, then it can get quite risky towards the end of the race with the medium tyres as well. So overall this is a very tough race with the strategy of the one stop to do. But you can see now towards the end of lap 2 it's actually been a pretty good lap this one, and we've started to gain a bit of ground on Curly and the two McLarens in front. We set the fastest lap of the race of 34.6, which is pretty good race pace to have. And yeah, I was hoping we're not taking too much out of our tyres at this stage, which I didn't think I was doing. and I think right now the tyres were coping just about alright, but it's around lap 4 where you start feeling it most, and then you just got to try and manage it from there to about lap 6. But we're going to start losing time soon to the guys who qualified or started on the soft tyres, so I expect the guys who qualified outside the top 10, unless they've been hampered by quite a bit of traffic, they're going to start closing in on us and gaining quite a bit of time. And I thought it might be a similar situation to Bahrain, where the guys who qualified outside the top 10 would have so much better race pace due to their superior tyres. But also the winner of Bahrain, Dom Hoffman, has actually got front wing damage I think on lap 1, and he's quite a bit, well, he's quite far behind now, and that's also affected his strategy in this race, which is going to pretty much count him out of contention. But you would have seen there, out of the hairpin, I had a massive slide which has pretty much killed my rear tyres now and overheated them massively. And yeah, it is going to be so difficult now to make it to lap 6, and you'll see on this lap just how much the performance is affected. And you can also see in front that Curly and Flores are starting to battle as well. Flores has been overtaken by Michael because I think Flores is just purely worse on his tyres and he struggles to look after them, and now Curly is making his way past Flores as well, and we're now pretty close to the guys in front. But you can see just on traction how much we're struggling, and you'll see in the S's in a second just how pretty much undrivable it is with like worn out rear tyres with the ultra softs. And look how much we're struggling on traction. Now you can see going into the S's, we go into the first part, it's not so bad, losing the rear slightly, but then to the second part now you'll just see I lose the rear completely. Very lucky not to spin there, and we're just losing so much time, and I didn't want to take the risk of trying to complete another lap and then losing a lot of time, so we're actually going to pit at the end of this lap for medium tyres and try and go to the end, which we should be able to do because also of the fact that it's actually going to rain towards the end of the race, which should make our life quite a bit easier, and we wouldn't have to worry as much about tyre wear with the mediums depending on when it does rain. If it rains in the final few laps, then we might have to worry a bit more with the tyre wear. But you can see down the straight here on lap 5, I believe Flores is also going to pit on this lap as well because he was struggling with his tyres. Curly and Michael have been pretty good on their tyres compared to me and Flores, so we're going to have to pit, and we might be able to get a bit of an undercut on them here, so let's see how that goes. So Flores comes into pits, so do I now. Our rear tyres were completely shot there, so there's nothing I could do except pit this lap, which is going to make it more difficult than it would have been on the medium tyres, but hopefully it will rain with a few laps to go so we won't have to worry as much about wear. But we need a good stop to hopefully remain on track without any kind of traffic in front of us, which I think we should be able to do pretty easily. If you look at the minimap, it should be alright. And Flores is now exiting his pit box as well, so he's going to remain in front of us. Williams Nervo also pitted behind, and he's going to be quite a bit behind us as well because he didn't really have the pace in the first stint either. And now onto the medium tyres. It's always going to be difficult with fresh medium tyres when they're cold, and when you just come out the pits you just get heaps of understeer. And you would have seen as well that my teammate Dom set the first lap of the race, and I believe he was on the medium tyres. I might be wrong about that, but he was pretty unlucky to be involved in the collision on the first lap. But also you can see in front that Flores is on the soft tyres, so he's clearly gone for a bit of a bold decision, and he thinks that the rain's going to arrive earlier than most people thought, and he's decided to go on the soft tyres, which is going to give him an early pace advantage, but I doubt they'll be able to last until the rain, and I believe the rain's going to come right at the end of the race. There's not a chance the soft tyres are going to last 20 plus laps here. So therefore Flores may have just ruined his own race with that call, but we'll wait and see how it goes. Maybe the rain will arrive a bit earlier than we thought, but I highly doubt it, to be honest, and I can't see the softs lasting much longer than 10-15 laps, to be honest. But you can also see in front that Curly remains in front of us with 1 lap fresher medium tyres, which I expected because the undercut around here with the medium tyres, especially because they take so long to warm up, it doesn't really make much of a difference with the undercut. So Curly remains in front, and we should be able to gain a bit of ground on him now whilst he's struggling with the colder medium tyres. But I was not really going to battle with him like I did with Deagle in the last race, because I was hoping together me and Curly could close up to the 2 McLarens in front. And you may be able to see on the minimap as well that Curly's teammate Alex has stayed out, because I believe he started on the medium tyres, so he stayed out, and he may try and hold up the McLarens to help his teammate when the McLarens get up to him. So we'll wait and see how that goes, and that might be able to allow us to catch up to the McLarens, because Alex may want to help his teammate Curly try and win the race, because Curly's pace has looked really good around this track compared to Bahrain and Australia especially, he's looked much more competitive around here. And also remember, he's on the pad, so it's very impressive that he is as competitive as he is on this game with a pad. It's really quite impressive. I can never do what he does with a pad, to be honest. It always baffles me how pad players manage to be competitive, because I tried a pad I think on 2015 or something, and I was never really... I always had to run assists with it because it was just an awful experience, and I've been a wheel user since F1 2011 or whatever, so a very very long time, and it's just what works for me. But you can see we're right up behind Curly now, and hopefully we can try and find a way through. I felt like my pace was a lot better around turn 1 and also around the middle sector, but his straight line speed seemed to be really good, so it's going to be tough to find a way through on him, but we'll see how it goes now. And you can see now, moving on to lap 15, it's getting darker and darker lap by lap, so the rain I should think will be here in probably about 10 laps from now, maybe a bit less. So we're looking in a pretty good position to fight for a podium here, especially with Flores on the soft tyres. And you can also see that the two McLarens have managed to pass Alex pretty easily, and myself and Curly haven't really gained much time on the McLarens, but our pace seems to be pretty good, and I was just sitting behind Curly for now and waiting for the right moment to make a move. But we're in a good position to try and get P2 at the moment. It looks like Michael's in the best position to take the win. Flores will have to pit again most likely, unless he tries to extend these soft tyres to the point where it rains, but I really can't see that happening without getting a puncher. So we're in a good position to fight for P2 with Curly right now, and I should think Alex will probably pit at the end of this lap to not hold up his teammate Curly, and that's exactly what he does. So he goes into the pits now, and yeah, P4 it is now. On to lap 16. The pace seems to be pretty good. We were pretty consistent, and yeah, the pace, well, myself and Curly, we were pretty much matching the McLarens, but hopefully, I believe Flores was in the lead at this stage, and hopefully he'll hold up his teammate Michael a bit, but I highly doubt it, because I think Flores and Michael, they work together pretty well, and if one driver's quicker than the other, then they'll let them through. But Curly actually made a bit of a mistake there around the final corner, and now on to lap 18. We might be able to look for a way through into turn 1 with our superior speed around there, depending on how wide he goes, and we actually gained quite a bit of time then. Look how much we gained on him around turn 1. We're now right up behind him through turn 2. Not a chance to make a move, but we've definitely gained quite a bit of time on him for the time being, and let's see how it goes around the rest of this lap through the middle sector, if we can stick with him and hopefully try and set up a move onto the back straight. Personal best first sector, so pace is still pretty good, and I felt like we were managing tyres, fuel and ERS pretty well at this stage. As now through the S's, the dirty air around here is really quite difficult, but we're still sticking with Curly around these S's, and I think our setup was more downforce based compared with his. His was definitely more focused on straight line speed, which has enabled him to stay in front for the time being. But let's see how it goes on this lap, as I believe now we're starting to close on the McLaren slightly, because Flores is starting to hold up Michael a little bit, and with the dirty air as well, we're going to start closing on them. But you can see the understeer, we're getting around the long right hander. But now onto the pit straight, ERS and overtake, we've got DRS, we've got fuel and Rich as well, and we're in the slipstream with Curly, and we're closing on him very very quickly now towards the hairpin. He defends the inside line, and we look to the outside, but that's never really on, so we're going to try a cut back here. First gear now, short shifting up through the gears, and we're not able to make the move there, but maybe we can get the move done through turn number 1 and open DRS now onto the pit straight, onto lap 19, 34.5, which is still really good pace. Right up behind Curly now, and we're going to hug the inside line around here to try and make the move stick. And can we get up the inside? We can. We find the smallest of gaps there to try and get past Curly. He reacts to us going up the inside, and he manages to just about hold on to P3. So we tried the move there, but if we can't get through, we just got to sit behind, because we don't want to lose too much time like we did with Deagle in Bahrain. So we're going to stick behind him for now, and hopefully try and close on the two McLarens, who I think we're starting to catch now ever so slightly lap by lap. And you can see once again onto lap 20, just looking at the amount of time I gain on Curly around turn number 1, and still not able to make the move stick, still sitting behind him, but that's just what we're going to have to do for the time being. And you can see how dark it is now, so I don't think it should be too long until the rain arrives. And you can hear my engineer now over the radio saying it's going to rain quite soon, so it's definitely, well, We're going to have to wait and see if we will have to pit for medium tyres, which I should think we will, depending on how quickly the rain falls and what point of the race the rain falls, but it shouldn't be too long now. As once again here on lap 20 we're right up behind Curly. He weaves a little bit to try and break the slipstream. As now down the straight, ERS and overtake once again as we look to the inside there into the hairpin, but that's never really a move that was going to work. And now Flores is behind Michael as well, so Flores is definitely starting to struggle on his soft tyres, so we should be able to catch him pretty quickly. And he was definitely trying to make those softs last until the point where it starts to rain. But once again in the slipstream in the DRS of Curly, ERS and overtake once again heading towards turn number 1. I'm going to try and hug the inside line once again, but this time Curly defends it pretty well and we're not able to make the move stick. But we are now starting to close on the McLarens pretty quickly, and at this point in the race I still believe the win was possible because the pace is looking good, and also my pace in the rain and also Curly's pace in the rain is pretty good. And I'm not sure how good Michael's pace in the rain is, but I was hoping we could find a way past Curly and also find a way past Flores with his worn out tyres, and then when it rains hopefully find a way past Michael, depending on how good his pace is in the wet, which I wasn't really too sure of. But if it goes to the point where it's intermediate tyres, then who knows what will happen. And you can see Curly's now going for a move on Flores. Flores pretty much shoves him off there on the exit of the hairpin. As now into the final corner as well, Flores is going to try, not Flores, Curly's going to try and make the move on Flores down the pit straight here. So opening DRS, we're just going to watch this move happen here. Curly goes up the inside of Flores into turn number 1, he gets the move done, and now we're going to have to try and make our way past Flores as we actually getting so much time on them both around turn number 1. We almost hit them there, and I believe Flores got a puncher here and he's actually spun there, and we get round the outside of him into P3, but Flores is spun. He's pretty much out of the race now, out of contention. I think he lost his front wing, so it's likely to be no points for him here today. So we're now up into a podium position, and the rain is starting to fall now. If you look on the halo there, you can see drops of rain as well. So this is the point in the race where it's going to get very interesting. We've still got 7 laps of the race remaining, and it might get to the point where we switch to the intermediate tyres, and I feel pretty confident in these conditions, so let's see what we can do. As it has been for pretty much the whole race, we just got Curly right in front of us there, and like it has been throughout the race, I just still can't find a way through without losing too much time. I wasn't going to go for a move that was going to lose us both a couple of seconds, maybe more, so I was going to try and find a way through if I could, but he's very quick in these conditions, as he has been on previous games as well. And you would have seen there that my medium tyres were on 57% tyre wear, which is getting to a stage now where we have to start worrying about them a little bit, and we have to continue to save the rear tyres especially, so got to look after them. And also if you look back in P4, we've actually got Jarno not too far behind us now, and you can see onto lap 23 now, he's actually within, well, he's just over a second behind, so we've got to be careful of him. He's really been quick in the last few laps. He's closed the gap from about 3 seconds to now 1.1, so he's got good pace in these mixed conditions as well, so we've got to be wary of him, and we don't want to lose this podium. Michael's about 2 seconds in front of Curly, so he's looking in a good position right now to take this win as we brake really late and hit the back of Curly there by accident, and we're lucky not to get any damage there. That was a mistake on my behalf to brake a bit too late, and it's getting more and more difficult in these conditions. Lap by lap it's getting wetter, so it will soon be the time to change tyres, but it's nowhere near the right time at the moment. And you can see now onto lap 24, losing the rear slightly out the final corner. That's now given Jarno a bit of an opportunity into turn 1. Curly's still just about within a second in front of us, and Jarno is maybe going to go for a move into turn number 1. He's a little bit too far behind, but we leave him a bit of a gap up the inside, and you can see now he's actually slightly hitting us now around turn number 1, and we managed to just about maintain the position. I believe from here we're going to stay on board all the way to the end of the race now, because it's getting to the stage now where it's nearly time to change tyres. And you can see heading towards turn number 4, Jarno's going to look to the outside line. We defend the inside line and he outbrakes himself pretty massively there, and we managed to hold on to P3. But Jarno's pace is looking better than mine and better than Curly's at this stage, and you can see just how much time we've lost to Curly. That's probably the biggest gap has been all race, and we've lost quite a bit of time through that battle with Jarno there. So Jarno is now right on the back of us, as you can see in the mirrors. He is probably going to be able to challenge us down the back straight here on this lap, but I think now the conditions are just getting that little bit worse and worse every single lap, where I think it's going to be time to pit at the end of this lap with 3 laps remaining after this one. We go a bit deep there into the chicane, and that's opened up the opportunity for Jarno to make a move down this back straight here. Curly's probably over a second in front now, so we're not going to get a DRS from him, and now we're under massive threat now from Jarno. As down the pit straight we put DRS in overtake, fuel in rich as well. We don't get DRS, Jarno gets DRS on us though, and he's got the slipstream, he's got everything in order to get through, and he gets right up behind us there, almost hitting us there, as now we brake a tiny bit too late and we've locked up the front tyres and we've gone too deep into the hairpin, and that's allowed Jarno to get through. But we're going to be pitting at the end of this lap anyway for a set of intermediate tyres. Michael's continued, Curly also pits, and Jarno pits as well, and this was a very, very difficult call to make as to whether to stay out or not, or pit with only 3 laps remaining, and we've decided to pit. And this is either going to be a call that works very well or it does not work at all. It depends how much time we can gain on the guys who have stayed out, but I feel like the conditions are just getting worse and worse all the time, so hopefully this is going to work in our favour, and hopefully we should be able to pick off the cars one by one. We're going to be so much quicker than them with only 3 laps here remaining of this race, and we're in P8 now. Curly comes out in P7, and let's see what we can do in this final part of the race. So exiting the pits, we're just going to try and get used to these intermediate tyres, but we're going to have so much more grip than these guys who've stayed out. But have we got enough time to catch up with them? That's the question. And another thing was that Curly Wurly actually got a penalty going into the pits. He got a warning, which was his 3rd of the race, and that now means he has a 3-second time penalty. But that's basically a glitch on the game where if you take a certain route into the pits, you cross a line or something like that. I'm not too sure what really happened, but it gives you a warning, which isn't right at all, and he's actually been given a 3-second time penalty by the game. He's already managed to clear Epic Gamer, and Epic Gamer on worn medium tyres in wet conditions is going to be so much slower than us on these fresh intermediate tyres in these conditions, so we should be able to clear him pretty quickly. You can just see how much we're managing to close on him, and this is going to give me a lot of confidence. But you can see on the mini-map now how far ahead Michael is. He's going into the hairpin now, so we're probably a good 20 seconds if not more behind him. We've already managed to clear Epic Gamer there on the exit of that corner. We've got so much better traction. Next up is Kaz for P6, and I think after that is probably Williams Alex, and Curly's already cleared both cars in front of us right now, so Curly's got very, very good pace in these conditions, and hopefully we can maybe catch him, pass him, but we'll have to see how that goes. It's actually not Williams Alex in front of Kaz as we managed to clear Kaz. It's actually FTR Danny, so we should be able to get past him as quickly as possible. And then after Curly, it's then Williams Alex or Synthetic, our rival from season 14 and season 15, as we now clear Danny pretty easily down the straight there. P5 it is now. So with 2 laps remaining, we've already cleared 3 cars, and we've got hopefully enough time to catch up with the guys in front. It's going to be very, very close now, and this is going to be one of the best finishes to a race we've ever had. This is definitely a very intense situation. We've got to get everything right here. We can't make any mistakes, because that might be the difference between coming in the top 2 or missing out on a podium, for example. So Curly is 2.6 in front of us, so right now we're going to be ahead of him, but the penalty which he has actually got removed because it's a glitch obviously, so he shouldn't have a penalty for that, so he got it removed eventually. So right now we're ahead of him, but in reality we're still behind him because of the glitch. So P5 it is, and I'm praying we're gaining enough ground on the guys like Kaz and Michael who are still out on the dry tyres. The conditions are still getting worse, but I really want to take points out of Michael here, because if we can, it'll be definitely good for our championship, because Michael is one of our main rivals. He's been really quick in Australia, really quick in Bahrain and here as well, and he's definitely going to be one of our main rivals for this championship, so we need to gain as many points as possible on him here today, and that will definitely be a job well done if we can do that. And Curly's already cleared Williams Alex there, and we should be able to do that probably in the hairpin because of just the superior speed we have on these intermediate tyres. So going into the hairpin now, just going to brake it in between 150 and 100 metre boards, and Alex has gone a bit deep, and we managed to get through on him now into P4, so we're not far off the podium, and we've just got, well, we've got one more corner, and then after that 1 lap remaining of this Chinese Grand Prix, so I think we're still about 20 seconds behind Michael, but let's see what we can do here on this final lap of the race. So it's got to be one of the best laps of our whole league racing career, this one, and we're going to have to see what we can do. Maybe we can still catch Curly, but his pace seemed to be pretty good, but I think we're starting to close on him right now. It depends how he can get through the likes of Kaz when we can catch Kaz, because I think we should be able to do that pretty easily. It's about whether we can catch Michael or not, which is more important for the championship, because obviously at this stage in the championship Michael is leading, and we've got to see if we can gain points on him, because we want to be in this championship fight come later in the season. We want to be trying to fight for our second championship. So you can see in front, Curly's easily going to get past Kaz, or is he? I think Kaz is actually defending there, going side by side around the S's, but Curly eventually gets through. Oh, it's actually not Kaz, sorry, it's Yano. Apologies for that, but Kaz actually pitted, and now we're easily going to get past Yano, nearly making a bit of contact with him there, but Curly actually lost the rear, and that's actually put us, I think, with just about over a second behind him now. And yeah, we've actually gained a heap of time on him on this lap, but you can see Michael is now in our view with just about, we've got this corner and then 2 more corners after that remaining. So can we catch Michael here in this final part of the race? And you can just see how he's struggling on the traction. We've already halved that gap just through 1 corner, so let's see what we can do heading towards the hairpin. He's actually weaving there to try and break the slipstream, even though from that kind of gap it's not really existent at all. It's now into the hairpin. We're going to brake once again just before the 100 metre board, and Michael's actually gone deep, and Curly's going to take the lead, and Michael's going to get really poor traction out of this corner, and we're going to get through into P2 as well. And that's now given us a podium. We're in front of Michael, and this is going to be a good result here today. And you'll see now that I actually get into the win here, which I thought, because of Curly's penalty, I thought he just got a standard corner cutting penalty or something like that. So I thought I'd won the race, but it turned out, as I said earlier, due to his glitch, he actually got his penalty removed, so he keeps the win here today. So Curly wins this race, I get P2, Michael gets P3, so still it's a better result than what I expected from P7 on the grid especially, and also earlier on in the race fighting for P3 with Curly. To take P2 is a fantastic result for the championship, and definitely good points in the long run. So another podium, our second in 3 races, and yeah, it's looking good so far in this season. We've actually got a 3-week break now due to the Mexican and USA F1 Grand Prix, so I will see you in a few weeks' time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at Baku. So I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.